Assalamu alaikum dear students. Let us continue the topic optics from your 11th textbook physics. In the last lecture we have seen the concept of reflection as well as refraction. That was just an introduction. Today we will have to see the image formation by the plane mirror as well as from the curved mirror. So let us quickly move on to the next topic. This is also that we are something going to recall from the last standard. You might have seen plane mirror in your home. So let us continue here. Reflection from a plane mirror. Reflection, you all know that this is nothing but the coming back of a light ray from the surface of mirror. So what happens when you take a plane mirror? The plane mirror is the nothing but the mirror that we usually see in our cupboard. That is a plane mirror. Do you know do you have observed the image formed by that plane mirror? Do you have any idea about the image formation or image quality formed by the plane mirror? What are those qualities? When you look into the mirror, what do you observe? You will first going to observe that the image formed over here, whichever images form inside the mirror is formed behind the mirror. So here we have considered one object. You can consider yourself over here. This green arrow represents the position of object. Then, as per the Cartesian sign convention, we have taken several reflected rays emitted from this object. So, these are the divergent beam of light, and we have followed the Cartesian coordinate system, rules of the Cartesian system, that the rays of light should move from left to right. So, these are the few divergent beam of light emitted from yourself, and this is a plane mirror. Its front surface is polished while the back surface is blackened, or it is made opaque, you can say, means where the light ray cannot transmit beyond it. So what do you observe when you look into the mirror? You will see your image behind the mirror exactly, and this image is exactly at the same distance from as your position from the mirror. So our first observation is image formed by the plane mirror is actually you will see that there is an image behind the mirror, but there is nothing behind the mirror. So image formed by the plane mirror is, very first thing, it is virtual. It is not real. It is fictitious because there is nothing behind the mirror. You are just observing yourself, your image. There is nothing behind the mirror because its mirror surface is exactly opaque from back side. So what we observe, that there is an image behind the mirror, and it is because of the rays of light. Why do we observe such an image? Because of the rays of light emitting from the images, and these rays of light are coming from the image behind the mirror. So this is just our observation. We all know that there is nothing behind the mirror. So image quality is, you will get the exact image of yourself. So we can say it is exactly erect. Image quality is erect, formed by the plane mirror, or you can say it is exactly upright. It is not inverted. Second thing, the only thing which I can observe over here, when I look into a mirror, I will see that my left hand will become right hand and right hand will become left hand, and there is no other defect in that. So what is left and right are inverted. Left become right and right become left. This is called as lateral inversion. So I can say that image formed by the plane mirror is laterally inverted. left hand becomes right hand and right hand become left hand. And the image distance and object distance is exactly same. So these are the few qualities which I observe from the image formed by the plane mirror. Now what will happen if there are two plane mirror? Suppose there are two plane mirror which are kept inclined with each other at a certain angle, say theta. And if any object is placed in between these two plane mirror, then what is going to happen? Suppose this is the object placed between the two mirrors. Then what is going to happen? You will get the reflection of this object from both the mirror, and there will be a multiple reflection from these two mirror. So there will be a number of images formed by these two mirrors because of multiple reflection. So if you want to know the number of images formed by, obviously we are not going to get only one image, we will get the number of images. More than one image will be possible because there are two mirrors and there will be multiple reflection of light. So this number of images formed by the plane mirror is actually depend on this angle theta. At what angle the two mirrors are inclined, it is depending on this angle theta, as well as it is also depends on the position of the object, where you have placed the object, whether it is in front of the first mirror or towards the second mirror, or it is placed exactly in between the two mirror. You can say it is at the angular bisector of the mirror. So it depends on the position of the object as well as on the angle between the two inclined image. So let us see what are the criteria to find out the number of images formed by the two plane mirror which are kept inclined to each other. Here what we will do, first we will calculate this ratio 360 divided by theta. This theta is the angle between the two plane mirror, and let us say this ratio as small n. So we will first find out this fraction. What fraction we are going to get from this number 360 divided by theta? So obviously we are going to get one number, and let that number is denoted as small n. Then let capital N is the number of images formed by the plane mirrors. So this capital N depends on this value n as well as on the position of the object, where you are placing the object. So let us see the first condition over here, where you are going to how many images you are going to get. See the first condition, if small n, this ratio 360 upon theta, if this value is an even integer, it's an even number, if this value is an even number, then capital N means the number of images formed by these two plane mirror is equal to n minus 1. Whichever number you are getting this small n, you'll have to subtract 1 from it, then you will get the number of images formed by these two plane mirrors. And the condition over here for the object, this object is placed anywhere, means you have placed it anywhere. Now second condition, second criteria is if small n, if this ratio small n is odd integer and the object is exactly placed on the angular bisector, means angular bisector, you are placing the object exactly at the angular bisector, at that time the number of images formed by these two plane mirror is also n minus 1. Now see the third condition, you'll have to remember these condition. Small n is odd integer. Again, if the value of n is odd and the object is not placed on the angular bisector, it is somewhere else, it is off the bisector, angular bisector, then capital N is equal to small n. Whichever ratio you are going to get over here, that will be the number of images formed by the plane mirror if the object is not placed on the angular bisector, if it is placed off the angular bisector, or if n is an odd integer. Now let's see the fourth condition. If small n is not integer, if the value of small n is not even, neither even nor odd, it is a decimal number, then capital N is equal to small m. This the number of images formed by the two mirror is equal to small m, where m is integral part of n. Means suppose your number is 6.35. It is neither even nor odd. So at that time integral part of this number is 6. So at that time you can say that number of images is 6. Now let us clear this our concept by one example. It is given in your textbook, example number 9.2. See what is given in the example. A small object is kept symmetrically between two plane mirrors, inclined at 38 degree. Means one object is symmetrically placed, means it is placed at the angular bisector, and the angle between the two plane mirror is 38 degree. Theta is 38 degree. This angle is now gradually increased to 41 degree. Slowly you'll have to increase the angle between the two plane mirror to till the value 41 degree. The object being symmetrical at all the time, an object will be symmetrical at all the time means it is always placed in this due process while making the angle from 38 to 41 degree. The object will be exactly placed at the angular bisector at all the time. Determine the number of images visible during the process. So first and foremost thing, we will have to calculate this ratio n. So let us write down the given thing. Theta is 38 degree. Our theta is 38 degree. Then n is equal to 360 divided by 38. This ratio comes out to be equal to 9.47. And this is valid till 40 degree. Because till 40 degree we are going to get this ratio in terms of 9 is equal to 9. Beyond 40 degree your n will be greater than 9. And n will be less than 9, because as the angle increases, denominator increases. As the denominator increases, the ratio decreases. So beyond the angle 40 degree, n will be less than 9. And it decreases up to, its value will be 360 divided by 41 will become 8.78. It is less than 9. So hence now onward there will be an 8 images. So clear that initially we are going to get the 9 images till the angle 40 degree, and after that we are going to get 8 images till the angle becomes 41. So this was the illustration of this rules that we will have to follow to find out the number of images formed by a plane mirror inclined at a certain angle. Hope you will have understood. Now let us further move on to the reflection from a curved mirror. Students, you might have seen the mirror which is used in a torch or in a headlight of a car, or you might have seen the rear view mirror of a vehicle. They are not a plane mirror, they are curved mirror. Actually, how these mirrors are formed, curved mirror may be it is of two types, convex or concave. So how it is made, consider one sphere. Here we have considered one sphere. If Let us consider two small part of the sphere. First small part is over here. This one. You can say this is a curve that we are obtaining in the sphere. So if this curve part is polished from outside, if its outside is polished to get the reflecting surface, and inside will remain as it is. If this curve mirror is polished from outside, then it will become a convex mirror. Now consider this part of the sphere, exactly opposite part of it. We have taken a small part of it. If this part is polished from inside and the outside will remain opaque. If it is polished from inside to get the reflecting surface, to get the images, then this part will form concave mirror. So what is the condition? In case of a convex mirror, the curved surface is polished from outside. In case of a concave mirror, the curved surface is polished from inside. So here we have drawn two figures. See the first one. This is a curved mirror and its outside surface is polished. What do you say about this mirror? It is a convex mirror. So let us see the images formed by the convex mirror. First and foremost thing, you should be familiar, you might have familiar with the word radius of curvature. Radius of curvature, see this sphere, the distance between, it is a radius of the sphere of which this curved mirror is a part. So radius of this sphere is called as radius of curvature and is very, very greater as compared to the anything over seen over here in this diagram. R is very, very greater, and so radius of curvature is nothing but the radius of the sphere of which this curve mirror is a part. So radius, you might have familiar with this word radius of curvature. Similarly, you might have familiar with the focal length. What is focal length? It is the distance from pole to the image. At whichever point you are going to get the image, the distance between pole and the image is called as focal length. Similarly, object distance in the mirror optics or lens optics, object distance is denoted as small u, image distance is denoted as small v. So let us see how the images are going to form. See, here we have followed the Cartesian coordinate system. Here we have taken one convex mirror. Its outside surface is polished and we have taken a parallel beam of light. So you should have understood that it is coming from the object placed at infinity. You may consider that this beam of light may be coming from sun. So we have considered one parallel beam of light. These parallel beam of light are coming from left to right. We have followed the Cartesian coordinate system here. So they are going to incident on the polished surface of this convex mirror. So what is going to happen? Each beam of light are going to follow the laws of reflection. Obviously it is a polished surface, so these rays of light are going to be reflected. So see the first ray, when it is incident on this point, it is reflected. See, it is reflected ray is shown by the red light. Similarly, consider the second ray. It is also going to follow the laws of reflection, means angle of incident is exactly equal to the angle of reflection. When you draw the normal at this point, you are going to get these two values. So this is the reflected ray, second reflected ray. See the third reflected ray, it is exactly vertical. So third reflected ray will come along this line only because the incidence is exactly at 0 degree. and see the fourth reflected ray, it is coming in this direction, fifth reflected ray is coming in this direction. So we are going to get the image, but where we are going to get the image, you will see that these reflected rays are supposed to be, when you extend these reflected ray beyond the convex mirror, you will see that these rays are supposed to be coming from a single point. That point is called as F. This is called as the position of image. And all these rays are supposed to be coming from this point. When you proceed this line, you will get this point. And this is the position of image. So, what is the distance between, in case of a convex mirror and concave mirror, it is found that the focal length of the convex mirror or concave mirror is exactly equal to r by 2, half of the radius of curvature. So since we are getting this point F, focal length, behind the mirror, and distance between this pole and this point, it is on the positive side of the principal axis, so you can say that this will be plus r by 2. So focal length of the convex mirror will be positive. Similarly, you may see the diagram drawn below it. It is, here also we have taken one mirror, but this mirror is polished from inside. This mirror is polished from inside. What do you say about this mirror? It is a concave mirror. So again we have followed the criteria or Cartesian coordinate system, that the light rays are coming from left to right. They all are going to incident on the curved part of the mirror, which is concave, and all these rays are supposed to be reflected because they all are incident on the polished surface of the mirror. So when these rays are reflected, you will see that they all are going to converge. All the rays are going to converge at a single point. So all this convergent beam of light will form together one image at the position F. This is the position F of the image formed due to the concave mirror. See, the reflected ray in case of a convex mirror, they all were diverging, while the reflected rays in case of a concave mirror, they all are converging. That is why convex mirror is also called as diverging mirror, while the concave mirror is also called as converging mirror, because all the rays of lights are coming together at a single point, and this image is on the same side as that of the object. It is not behind the mirror. So again, this distance of the pole is, you all know that it is a center of the curved part of the mirror. So distance between this pole and the image, it is denoted as F. It is nothing but the focal length, and when you measure it, where C is the center of curvature and this distance CP is radius of curvature, so you will see that this is exactly r by 2. But this time, since we are measuring, use the optical Cartesian coordinate criteria for the Cartesian sign convention, that this distance is measured from the left of the pole, so this distance will be negative. Focal length of the concave mirror is minus r by 2. This was a few concepts that we have to study today, that reflection from a curved mirror and a convex mirror. So we will come to know that image formed by reflected rays reflected rays are seems to be diverging from the surface of convex mirror, and reflected rays are seems to be converging from the surface of concave mirror. So hope you'll have understood this topic. The second thing that you might be knowing is power of lens. What is power of lens? One more thing, you might have studied in the previous standard one formula that for relation between f, focal length, object distance and image distance is given by this formula 1 upon f is equal to 1 upon u plus 1 upon v. You will have studied this formula. So now let us study power of lens. Power of lens is nothing but the ability of, sorry, not lens, it is a mirror. We are studying mirror now. So power of mirror are nothing but the ability of a mirror, ability of converging and diverging the beam of light. So it is measured in this term. So this power is actually a reciprocal of focal length, and its unit is diopter. So what is the unit here? 1 upon focal length is obviously it is going to measure meter inverse. It is measured in meter. So unit is meter inverse. That's meter inverse is nothing but diopters. So what is power of mirror? It is nothing but the ability of a mirror of converging and diverging beam of light. So, last thing that you all might have studied is magnification, lateral magnification. Magnification means increment or decrements in the size. So whenever we see the real object, you might have observed when you see the image formed by the convex mirror or concave mirror, they are not exactly of the same size. They are different in size. So you can say that lateral magnification is nothing but height of image which is measured perpendicular to the principal axis divided by height of object. Or it is also written as laterally you can measure their distances, image distance upon object distance, V upon U. You will have studied these two formula in the last standard. So hope you will have understood today's lecture. Thank you.